Hey Keith, it's Patrick. Thanks for sending me a couple more vids. I've had some time to look at them, and I got some observations. Two things. One, you have improved on something that was very important, and two, we haven't improved on something that's also as important. But initially, when we first gave you the lesson, the main thing was to get that torso to rotate through the shot. And I know in your email you told me you were under the impression, after watching your own videos, that you were still stopping an impact, the torso, the hips, the whole 9 yards. But let me get you on here for a second, your whole picture. Yeah, what's going on here, buddy? Hold on a second. Alright, there we go. I'm going to show you something here. Right there, your hips and your torso are not stopping, buddy. I'm not sure what you're looking at. Maybe you had a different video, but what I'm seeing here is a much better through impact area with your torso and your hips. I don't see the stop and throw the hands at the ball, which is good. And again, a little confused because I don't see that. I see an improvement here. Let me get your face-on view here for a second as well. Let me look at your. Let's get it going here. We'll put you in slow motion so we can see it. Bring the club back. I remember you telling me also in your email that you're trying to get the left leg active or more proactive, which is good. That's just like the bump the bag drill I suggested you use, because it really does make the torso and the lower body proactive. And this is what I'm seeing. Again, I don't see you stopping, not like you were, that's for sure. And I see this thing rotating all the way through, which is good. Now, let me get you to impact here for a second. Try to click you through here. See, even that's a little bit better position, buddy. I mean, I see improvement here. That left arm is firm through there. I still see a little bit of a scoop, and I still see a little bit of a scoop with that right side. But I like to think, I like to work on the positives here. I'm starting to see a firmer left arm, and it looks like we're trying, probably not consciously, but at the very least, by getting that torso to rotate through the ball properly, I'm starting to see the hands almost feel like they're leading the charge here through impact. Not quite where we want them, but I see progress, long story short. Now, let's see what I don't see progress in. Let's go back to your picture on your left, because this is very telling. That position right there is our second parallel in the backswing. What I mean by that is the left arm on the backswing is parallel to the ground at this point. When that position is reached, ideally in a theoretically perfect golf swing, which, I mean, may or may not exist out there, but in a theoretically perfect golf swing, that straight line should go from the golf ball to the hands, right to the shaft, which yours doesn't. In your swing, here's your shaft. It's way above the golf ball. I call that a very shallow angle with the shaft. And when you're in that position, a couple things. Number one, you're stuck, and probably always will be stuck, or I like to use the word out of sync. Number two, the club shaft doesn't have a steep enough pitch to even attack the golf ball properly on the downward swing arc. In layman's terms, you're going to hit a lot of thin shots or a lot of shots off the bottom of the club, and I think that's what you're telling me in your email. Now, last lesson we had, I had you work on a couple things. One was that bump the bag drill, which in my opinion is helping you. So don't get discouraged, because I think it's helping you greatly, actually. The other drill I had, or wanted you to do, and again, I don't expect you to consume all this at one time, so I'm gonna really harp on this one, because I want you to really work on this one. This is that early wrist set drill, and this drill helps keep the club on plane. It helps encourage proper swing plane right from the get-go. All right, now let me get me a boom. This is my pre-shot routine, and I do this during the routine all the time, even to this day. Now let me get you over here on the left here for a second. I want to show you something. Alright, now, those two pictures have one thing in common. Both shafts are parallel to the ground. This is our first parallel. When that shaft is parallel to the ground on the backswing, the first time it is, it's also parallel to the target line, which, as you can see in mine, it is. And trust me, this isn't easy to do. I know I've been doing it a long time, so I'm pretty good at it. But, you know, my target line's somewhere in this area, and if you can see my club head and my shaft, they're in line. I mean, that's that shaft direction's right down the target line. That's perfect. Now, let's go over to your situation. If that's our target line, your shaft is nowhere near this way. It's more this way. So, in layman's term, we got this club head way wrapped around too much. Let me, this club head, ideally, when that club shaft is parallel to the ground, that club head should be right here. Pure and simple. As you can see, mine, I don't have the greatest golf swing, but I try to keep it fundamentally sound for one reason only: less compensating moves. And right now I got my left arm and the club head almost in the same direction, or same line, I should say. I can't say that with yours. You got that club head wrapped way too far around. I mean, it's right off from the golf ball. Now let me get you rolling here in slow motion. And the stack and tilters and I don't agree with hardly anything they talk about, quite frankly. Their impact position's really good when you're doing it properly, and that's what we agree on, impact. But again, the way I teach my students is there's efficient ways to get to proper impact and inefficient ways. And I'm always trying to stress to my students the most efficient way to get to impact. And when we start the golf club back on such a round or inside move, there's nothing but compensation is going to come after that. And I see a little compensation in your swing. You get to the top and very slightly come over the top to try to get that club shaft steeper and back at the golf ball. Probably not too successfully, but you're trying to. There's an easier way of doing this, Keith. Let's get this club taken away much better on that backswing. I want to see this club head over here. In fact, I want this image burned into your skull, if you will. That image right there on the right. I want to see this image burned into your skull. Right there. When that club shaft's parallel to the ground and parallel to the target line, that's the position you're striving for. We have to get this club head on plane. We have to get the shaft on plane. If we do that, we have a much better chance of getting the activity at the impact. Ideally, I like to see your swing plane up here. Technically, you're not even close to that, obviously, because you've been playing around that stack and tilt stuff. But these hands, ideally, would be in this position over here. You know, the funny thing is, some people are more visual than others, so I'm gonna put this other view back up here again. This shallow angle right here should be pointing at the golf ball, and yours isn't. It's way above the golf ball, maybe a foot or so. We got to get that position fixed. If you don't get that position right there fixed, we're going to be hitting thin shots for a very long time, Keith. So here's what I want you to work on. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. I want you to burn that image into your skull, like I said before, that early wrist set drill, and that image that I have right here. That image right there, I want you to hit this image. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to work on this for another week and a half. Send me 2 more videos down the line and forward, and the face-on view. I'm not going to charge you for it, but I want to see some progress, and I'm going to critique it again. And this is job number one right now. Keep working on turning through the ball really well, like you've been doing. If that left hip being active is helping you, which I think it is, keep doing it. I mean, that's a great swing key. But this position right here, we've got to fix it in your golf swing. We've got to get you in this position right here. All right, now let's. One thing I want to show you here, Bud, is your impact position. That's better. Right here. Where's it at? Like I said before, I think I've already mentioned this in this particular lesson. I'm starting to see some lead left arm firmness, which I like. I even see the hands out here. Is it perfect yet? No, but it's getting better. I mean, I'm seeing progress. Just be patient with it, though. I still see you trying to scoop underneath it just a touch, and again, that's part of your DNA, and we're going to try to fix it. But as long as you keep these hips rotating around and rotating around and rotating around through impact, this is all going to help take care of itself. But again, and I'm going to stress this again, we got to burn this image. We got to burn this image right into your DNA. So, Keith, work on it for a week or so. Get this club on plane. Send me 2 more views down the line and face on, and I'm gonna go through another lesson with you. I'm not going to charge you. I want you to send this, and I want to see some progress. All right, I appreciate it, and thank you, and I'll be in touch. If you have any questions, by all means, you want to talk to me on the phone, call me. All right, thank you very much.